Welcome to another year of reviews, everybody. I said I'd be talking about some more popular films this year, so it's only fitting that we start off with the movie that ruined all musical movies in the late 2000s. Okay, I'll be the first one to admit that I never watched High School Musical when I was a kid. I was 9 when the first one was released, so I didn't really care about high school. If I was watching Disney at the time, it was probably just reruns of Gargoyles. Regardless of that, I am baffled by the huge influence that High School Musical had over the musical movie genre. Yeah, I know that musicals set in high school did exist before 2006, but tell me with a straight face that it's a coincidence that after this movie, we saw and are still seeing a huge influx of other musical movies and TV shows with a school setting, such as Glee, Pitch Perfect, Camp Rock, Stage Fright, and the remakes of Hairspray and Fame. Some of them were really obvious about it, like Sunday School Musical. Hell, after High School Musical's popularity, pre-existing movie franchises changed their setting just to cash in on it. Seriously guys, Alvin and the Chipmunks have no business being in high school, nor do the cast of My Little Pony. I must say, I'm not used to talking about a movie this famous. What could I possibly say about it that wouldn't potentially piss off an entire fan base? Why do you think I review obscure stuff like Monster Mash? I do it because nobody has strong reservations about those types of movies, and therefore they'll be less likely to get upset at my reviews. Well, I'm doing this because, as I found out recently, even movies like Monster Mash have their share of fans who have no reservations about making attack videos. I wouldn't mind so much, except the song is terrible. It feels like rejected splooge from the Full House songwriters.
Oh, the fourth joke was so tedious.
So I figured if I were to piss people off, why not piss them off over something that's actually worthwhile? Especially when the movie's title card seems even less enthusiastic for this movie than I. I'm just saying, the movie's poster at least pretends to be interested. Wait a minute, that's not a high school. Shouldn't the movie's title be Ski Resort Musical? As the movie introduces us to our totally original main characters, Troy the popular kid and Gabriella the shy, smart new girl, we see that this movie has about the same budget as the average episode of Days of Our Lives. Aw man, why is Troy being sent down to the kids' party? He's clearly 18! The movie is directed by Kenny Ortega, so expect a lot of choreographed roller skating to ELO music. Because he worked on Xanadu, you see. Troy and Gabriella are selected at random to go up and sing. Because yeah, these two kids who are just minding their own business are clearly the ones who should have the spotlight. But I guess they need some reason to meet. Also, the MC is a douchebag.
Hey, you know what? Someday you guys might thank me for this. Or not.
Boy, wouldn't it be hilarious if those two turn out to be tone deaf? More importantly, though, how does he know the tune to this song? Is the soundtrack to High School Musical just really popular in this world? I should point out that the singing is only okay, though pretty nasally, which I guess is common among Disney teen stars.
This could be the start of something new. It feels so right to be here with you. Oh.
And while we're at it, why does Zac Efron always look like he's about to orgasm?
In my pants. Now who'd have ever thought that?
Oh my god, he took off his jacket! Why, that's just unbelievable! It's love at first sight. And sound.
You're a singer, right?
Just church choir is all. I tried a solo and nearly fainted.
But she had no problems with that a few seconds ago because plot convenience. As the new year comes and everybody goes outside to watch the obviously CGI fireworks, they get each other's phone numbers. Ha! I remember when cell phones were that big and bulky. Is that supposed to be the high school? These are the cheapest effects ever. Oh, never mind. We meet Troy's friend Chad, played by young Tommy Webber from Galaxy Quest. Chad has the terrible speech impediment of only speaking in exposition dialogue.
Happy New Year. Yeah, it's gonna be a happy Wildcat New Year, man! Because in 2 weeks, we're going to the championships, with you leading us to infinity and beyond.
This is a strange time to reference Toy Story, which starred Tim Allen, who was also in Galaxy Quest with you. Okay, I'm not sure if that was intentional, but if it was, kudos. Anyway, we next meet their teacher, Ms. Darbus. She's played by Allison Reed, formerly a talented Broadway actress who appeared in Cabaret as Sally Boyles, and in Marilyn and American Fable as Marilyn Monroe. as well as playing Cassie in the movie of A Chorus Line. Considering the critical reception of A Chorus Line, I guess this isn't the only bad movie she's been in. Ms. Darbus is upset because she used to be hot and thin, so she takes it out on the kids by putting 4 of them in detention for having their phones out, and then putting another one in detention just for the hell of it.
No, that's not even a possibility, Mrs. Darbus, Your Honor. See, because we have basketball practice in Troy.
That will be 15 minutes for you too, Mr. Danforth. Count them.
Well, come on, give him a break. This kid saved the world from aliens. Okay, that's enough Galaxy Quest references for now.
Holidays are over, people. Way over. Now, any more comments? Questions? Jason.
If I splash water on you, will you die? They keep setting us up to believe that Troy and Gabriella are going to the same high school, but that couldn't possibly happen.
Hey!
What?
I don't
Believe it. Either.
Oh, I forgot. In the 2000s, people thought that couples finishing each other's sentences were just the cutest thing. Well, they're not. It's really annoying. Please stop. As it turns out, there's a musical happening at the school. Gee, I wonder if they're going to sign up for it.
I'll be signing up for anything for a while. I just want to get to know the school. But if you sign up, I'd consider coming to the show.
Yeah, that's completely impossible.
What's impossible, Troy? I wouldn't think impossible is even in your vocabulary.
Well, you're the villain.
So nice of you to show a new classmate around.
You must be new here.
Oh, and in case you can't tell she's a villain, her name is Sharpay. Why does she have a dog's name? Is this the movie's subtle way of telling us that she's gonna be a bitch? Okay, I was close. There's no choreographed roller skating, but there is choreographed basketball playing. And then their coach walks in and is really confused. Also, why is it holding in this shot of Troy walking away afterwards? This shot lingers longer than one in a Kubrick movie. And in case you forgot that Gabriella was a smart chick.
Shouldn't the second equation read 16 over pi?
That's quite impossible. I stand corrected. Oh, and welcome aboard.
Ah, this movie is totally realistic. Teachers just love being corrected by their students. But it seems that Sharpay senses what is going on between Troy and Gabriella. Wait, so a cool guy and a shy girl who met during vacation just so happened to be going to the same high school, only for another girl to get in the way. I don't know, I like this plot better when it was done by John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John. Sharpay and her brother Ryan search on Not Google and find out that Gabriella had won several academic awards in the past. So they do the villainous deed of signing her up for the Scholastic Decathlon team. Dastardly! The basketball coach, who is also Troy's dad, is upset that Troy and Chad are in detention, so he gets into an argument with Ms. Darbus. Who wins that battle, you may ask?
Hey, what team?
Well, that was unrealistically easy. But the next day, Chad starts to grow suspicious when Troy doesn't want to hang out with him at lunch.
Dude, you know what? I can't make it. I gotta catch up on some homework.
What? Hello, it's only the second day back. I'm not even behind on homework yet.
No, I believe him. I was usually behind on homework on my second day of each year of high school. By the way, what's with Chad's t-shirt? I come with my own background music? This is a musical, so that kinda goes without saying. In the next scene, Chad chases Troy all around the school, but I think there's a really obvious solution to this problem. Hey dude, I would love to hang out today, but there's this really cute girl who I met during vacation, so I'm gonna go hang out with her instead. No offense. If this movie takes place in any realm of reality, I guarantee he would understand if you just told him that. Troy meets up with Gabriella, and they arrive at the rehearsals just in time to see this abomination from God.
I've never had someone that knows me like you do, the way you do.
Do they have chemistry or what? Oh, they shouldn't. They're brother and sister! Geez, do all Disney movies have this much suggested incest? That doesn't count and you know it. And why is everyone applauding this? They should be grossed out. This is something that should not happen. Here, get Troy and Gabriella to sing instead.
I've never had someone that knows me like you do, the way you do.
Wow, it really says something when the brother and sister have more chemistry than our two leading characters. But Ms. Darbus overhears them and signs them up for callbacks, probably because she just realized the unfortunate implications of having the brother and sister star in the musical together. Sharpay takes this well. We now launch into one of the movie's more infamous songs, Stick to the Status Quo, which is less of a song and more of a string of random characters we've never met before being judged for things they like doing. Okay, here's a big complaint I have with this movie's unrealistic depiction of high school. When I went to high school, people minded their own business. It didn't matter if you liked doing what your friends liked doing, nobody cared. What the hell kind of high school did the writers go to? Joseph McCarthy High? At least it has an okay guitar solo. Though for some reason the film always cuts to the solo being played on the cello. Are we supposed to assume that this guy later joined two cellos or something? But all this singing and dancing causes Gabriella to slip and spill her lunch on Sharpay.
What is going on here?
Oh, Mrs. Darbus, you just missed it! There was a spontaneous musical number and you would have loved it! But we're almost halfway through, so let me recap the plot so far. A teenage boy and girl fall in love at first sight, but are held back because they are in rivaling cliques and their peers pressure the star-crossed lovers to... Wait, what in the ever-loving crap?! This freaking movie. Okay. Romeo and Juliet adaptation. For everyone who wanted to see Zac Efron and Vanessa Hudgens kill themselves. But the worst part is that it doesn't even correctly interpret the plot of Romeo and Juliet. We weren't supposed to identify with the two main characters. It wasn't supposed to be a great romance, it was a tragedy, a cautionary tale about the harshness of teen years and how teens can make stupid decisions. But through all the adaptations and remakes in recent years, that message has been dulled and is now considered the quintessential romance, and this movie really isn't helping matters. Anyway, Gabriella starts talking with her fellow smart girl, Taylor.
We didn't even audition, we were just singing.
You won't convince Sharpay of that, I'm telling you. If that girl could figure out a way to play both Romeo and Juliet, her own brother would be ace out of a job.
First of all, way to name-check the Shakespeare play you're adapting movie. That's like if Lion King mentioned Hamlet in the middle of it. Secondly, wait, are you implying that Sharpay and Ryan would star together in Romeo and Juliet? Ew! Nope! 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 With all the implied incest in this movie, how the hell did it get a G rating? More importantly, though, what is actress Monique Coleman doing in high school? At the time of this movie's release, she was 25. We next get a scene with Sharpay and, this guy, as he hits on her and she turns him down. And that's it. Well, that scene had a point. Troy and Gabriella hang out in the school's roof garden, and in case you didn't know that this movie's message is about being yourself, they hammer it in through this entire scene!
My parents' friends are always saying, your son's the basketball guy. You must be so proud. Sometimes I don't want to be the basketball guy. I just want to be a guy.
Now granted, in many ways this message is a better one than in Grease, where the message was to change yourself to be cool. But at least in Grease, the message wasn't so damn preachy. I think the website TV Tropes even has a term for this, anvilicious, where the message is so blatant and forced that it's like an anvil being dropped in the audience. And by the way, this brings me to another thing that bugs me. The movie constantly tries to pretend that Gabriella is a shy, nerdy chick who has no other friends besides the other nerds, and has never had a boyfriend in her life.
At my other schools, I was the freaky math girl.
Ha 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 ha! Yeah, right! You keep telling yourself that because I don't believe a word of it. I mean, I know that pretty girls can be really smart. I'm not one to make generalizations like that. But the whole reclusive, no friends bit? Yeah, I don't buy it. They tried to do something similar with Olivia Newton-John in Grease, where they at least dressed her up differently. Here, they make no effort to disguise Vanessa Hudgens' hotness. Though to be fair, it's not helped by the fact that in hindsight she later went on to model for nude photos that were leaked to the internet. Next we get a montage of Troy and Gabriella rehearsing for the callbacks, followed by one of the most awkward and abrupt cuts I've ever seen in a movie. What the hell was that? That's like if in the middle of a sentence I were to cut the... So after Troy misses basketball practice, he introduces Gabriella to his dad, who does not approve.
Dad, she's not a problem. She's just a girl.
But you're not just a guy, Troy. You're the team leader.
Jeez, this kid has a dad from hell! His dad lives vicariously through him to the point of actually discouraging him from talking to girls. It's like if the dad went to the same parenting school as the parents from the Breakfast Club. Though if that were the case, this movie would at least have a good soundtrack.
Don't you
Not that his friends are any better, though, as they had to plan with Gabriella's friends to split the two up. I think they're just jealous because Zac Efron is the only one of them who will actually have a career after this movie. They try to get him pumped up for the big game, but Gabriella's friends have a different way of doing it.
Our culture worshipped the aggressor throughout the ages, and we end up with spoiled, overpaid, bonehead athletes who contribute little to civilization other than slam dunks and touchdowns.
Don't forget movies! But they managed to capture video of Troy saying that he doesn't care about Gabriella. And in this case, I definitely say that it's Troy's fault for not noticing the obvious camera! The movie tries to depict Sharpay as wildly manipulative, but judging by this scene, you could say the same thing about Troy and Gabriella's friends. Also, why are the basketball players so adamant about getting Troy out of the musical? Did they forget all about the big musical number they had earlier? Gabriella now sings the movie's sad song, with obvious amounts of auto-tune and... Ha! She looked at the camera. Busted! Wait, she does it again? Does she even know she's being filmed right now? It looks like they just used a rehearsal take. Disney usually gives us musical numbers with immense choreography and stunning visuals. This movie has Gabriella walking down the hallway, walking down the stairs, walking next to a poster, walking back down the hallway, and that's it. I personally blame the director for this. Kenny Ortega could not have been Disney's first choice for this movie. I mean, I don't know him, he might be a nice guy, but with Xanadu under his belt, hasn't he ever been involved in any good movies? Oh, well, I'm not getting into that argument right now. Nor am I getting into this argument, though at least it does explain why they chose him, as he gave them a hit before. Unfortunately, this movie suffers from one of the same problems of Rock of Ages, where the couple never seriously talks about the misunderstanding afterwards to clear things up. Troy's dad sees him afterwards, and yeah, when your son is suddenly struggling at the thing he usually excels at, and is clearly feeling heartbroken and betrayed, no need to talk to him about it or anything. And did Gabriella just look at the camera again? Troy's friends tell him about what they did, and Gabriella's friends tell her.
We were jerks. No, we were worse than jerks because we were mean jerks.
Kinda redundant there, isn't it? Isn't that kinda like saying that Dracula was worse than a vampire because he was a blood-sucking vampire? And it wouldn't be an adaptation of Romeo and Juliet without a balcony scene. But this is a G-rated movie, so no kissing is allowed. Incest, on the other hand. Speaking of which, the movie isn't over yet, as Sharpay and Ryan convinced Miss Darbus to move the callbacks to the same day as the Scholastic Decathlon and the basketball game, which the movie subtly communicates to us in this title card. And there's no point in getting Zac Efron in your movie unless he has a shirtless scene. I don't know, the skirts of the cheerleaders still need to be longer for a G-rated movie. I can almost see their thighs. Why the hell are Sharpay and Ryan still a realistic option for the leading couple in the show? Doesn't Miss Darbus see how wrong this is?
Mucho gusto.
Great. Now they're reenacting a scene from a much better Romeo and Juliet adaptation, West Side Story. This makes me wonder, what is this play even about? We're given no information about its plot, and all we've seen are auditions. And why doesn't anyone see them pulling out this laptop to hack into the computer system that controls the power in the gymnasium? Speaking of which, nice message, Disney. If things don't go your way, cheat to make them go your way. Also, being a computer hacker is totally cool. The game and the decathlon are both evacuated, and everybody goes to the auditorium to hear Troy and Gabriella sing. Because yeah, when you have a rowdy sports crowd, surely they'll be quiet enough to hear two people sing above it. And Gabriella now has stage fright again for no reason. Doesn't anyone remember earlier when she sang perfectly fine? I can see how Equestria Girls was influenced by this movie. They both have the same lack of continuity. And in both movies, instrumentals will come out of nowhere whenever someone is singing. Wow, the audience loves them and their average singing voices. When I sang at my school, people just fell asleep. The basketball team wins, of course, despite the fact that they would probably be disqualified in real life. And the director must not care about the Scholastic Decathlon because we never see them win. Gabriella does appear wearing a completely different dress, though. Also, Chad and Taylor are now a couple for no reason. But the big question is, did Sharpay learn her lesson?
I guess I'm going to be the understudy in case you can't make one of the shows, so break a leg. In theater, that means good luck.
Don't worry, she'll be back as a villain in the sequel. Yay! Usually I like to skip the credits of a movie, but with this one I can't. The final song number continues while the credits roll. But we can't finish this movie without tying up all loose ends.
These cookies are genius. The best things I've ever tasted. Will you make some more for me, Zeke?
Because that was the real focus of this movie. Zeke's cookies! What the hell was that movie? Who was it supposed to appeal to? It must have appealed to someone, as it became one of the most popular Disney Channel movies of all time, receiving 7.7 million viewers in its premiere broadcast, and despite mixed reviews, became a hit franchise with a popular soundtrack, 2 sequels, 1 sort of sequel, and several foreign language spin-offs. It made its main stars famous, and whether I like it or not, it did have a huge impact on the musical movie genre. But nowadays, most people don't seem to remember it too fondly. Many see it as the embodiment of everything wrong with Disney at the time, and all of that is shown by the fact that it's the 10th anniversary of High School Musical, right when it should be nostalgic, yet nobody cares. So I don't think I'm gonna break anyone's heart when I say that this movie was pretty bad. The characters are all stereotypes, the writing succumbs to a lot of the typical Disney cliches, the stakes are the lowest I've ever seen in a movie I've reviewed, and the acting ranges from ridiculously over the top to weak monotone. Honestly though, it wasn't nearly as bad as I thought it would be. I feared that watching this movie was going to be the most painful experience I ever willingly subjected myself to, but it was more just bland and boring. And in my reviews, the standards are set so low that just being bland and boring still counts for something. Of course, High School Musical does have sequels, which I'll get to at another time. But before I do, there are some other certain musical sequels on my agenda.
We were worse than jerks because we were mean jerks.